So when you grow your own, you can pick your sitaw a lot younger, and when they're this size, they're actually delicious to eat on their own. I know every Filipino is like, he didn't wash that first. I don't use any chemicals on any of my stuff here, so I guess the Manila rain is pretty toxic. But I'll take my chances. Fresh picked sitaw tastes absolutely amazing. Hi mga kabano, it's Chris here, and a lot of you have been asking me about how I grow yung mga fresh gulay dito sa Metro Manila, and I'm really here in the heart of Metro Manila. I live in Makati City. I'm just going to show you where we're actually growing this garden that you see behind me. We're just going to pan around and take a look at all of the skyscrapers. So, this is really a concrete jungle. This is urban gardening. But, for me, it's important that kahit nasa loob ng isang lungsod ka, that, it's important to maintain some kind of connection to the land and fresh ingredients. And also, if you have kids in particular, I think it's really important that they understand where fresh food actually comes from, how to grow it. These are real survival skills. Who knows what the future holds and if they'll have to be able to one day grow food for themselves. So, I keep a garden here, in Makati City. So just behind me here, and it's actually a converted sampayan, right? If you know the old drying cages up on the rooftop. So, we still hang the laundry there, but increasingly it's actually where I'm just growing food, right? So I'm gonna show you what I got in here today. And if you like this video, we might actually show more and more videos on how to be an urban gardener yourself dito sa Manila. So mas masarap din yung mga luto mo, mas masarap yung mga sangkap mo, and you can eat healthier, live healthier here in Manila. Let's go. So the first thing when setting up your garden is, it's very helpful to have an apparatus around it, especially a lot of the Philippine vegetables are climbers. So the drying cage, the sampayan, is actually perfect to grow things, but we also put up webbing like this to grow things like sitaw and ampalaya, which will be growing along the top here. And I actually have quite a lot of snake beans in the garden at the moment. Small ones, little ones, there's some pretty big ones actually in the back. Pretty good crop actually. I'm going to harvest this later today with little AJ because he loves to pick the beans. Yung super masaya siya pag-pick ng mga beans. We have a few other things like, we're growing, this is papaya. It's just started to shoot again because we transplanted it. Malunggay. Malunggay is great. You just get the stick, put it in a pot. Over here I have some mais. A few more papaya that we're trying to grow here on the rooftop. You need a pretty big pot for the papaya though, so we'll see if we get a nice yield off this in a few weeks' time. I'll make another video about it. Now it's been raining a lot in Manila lately, so everything is in sort of full bloom, right? The sitaw is looking really, really healthy. I actually can't believe how many beans. I'm gonna be eating sitaw all week, I think. But what I like to grow and focus on in especially rooftop gardening, urban gardening, you got to focus on plants na they don't really need a lot of babuyog. So babuyog or bees, they are essential to cross-pollinate plants. And what you find in this kind of gardening is anything that requires the bees to be fertilizing the plant, they tend to struggle a bit in terms of the pollination doesn't happen and then the fruit just kind of withers or doesn't form, right? Dahil walang pollination dyan dahil sa babuyog. This building's about 10 stories, so even at 10 stories up, walang masyado maraming babuyog. So that really limits what you can grow effectively in urban gardening. But we find that sitaw and ampalaya do particularly well in the Manila urban environment. We actually are growing here, this is alugbati, and this is a really bitter leaf. I'll taste a little bit. Generally speaking, you would cook this first, usually in mongo, really delicious addition to it. I'm just going to weave this back through the fence so it can continue to grow. But that's a very healthy plant. This is really doing very, very well. Just from a single pot. And the reason I love to grow ampalaya so much is not only can you eat the fruits, but the ampalaya leaves also a flavoring for a lot of Filipino dishes, right? So you can have the ampalaya leaves go into something again like mongo. Now here's one of my sitaw. I actually like to pick them, when you grow yourself, you can pick them a lot younger than when in the store you get them and they're always massive, right? They're like super, super fat. And they've left them on the vine a bit too long in my view because they're trying to increase the weight, right? Because they're obviously selling by weight. So when you grow your own, you can pick your sitaw a lot younger, and when they're this size, they're actually delicious to eat on their own. I know every Filipino is like, he didn't wash that first. I don't use any chemicals on any of my stuff here, so I guess the Manila rain is pretty toxic. But I'll take my chances. Fresh picked sitaw tastes absolutely amazing. Even after a few hours, the taste is iba na, but when you first pick it like this, it's actually very sweet. And here's one of the ones I should have picked a little bit earlier. This one, the stem will now be, you would need to cook this one now to eat it. But yung maganda dito, yung mga seeds. So I'll probably keep this one. I'll simply dry this instead, and then we'll actually use these seeds to plant the next crop of sitaw. Now, the other things I like to try and grow in my garden that we get good results with here in Manila is this is okra. So we have a few pots of okra. Those were just planted recently, and that generates quite a good crop. Again, doesn't require pollination in order to sprout the okra fruit. And then I have a few interesting fruit plants. So over in this corner we have bayabas, or the Philippine guava. So that's growing there. We have calamansi, which is in this big pot here. And that, when it produces calamansi, fresh picked calamansi, tastes amazing. I've got 2 calamansi plants, in fact. I like it so much. And then meron tayong ilang types ng herbs, because if you are going to grow, for me, the most important thing you should put in your garden is fresh herbs. And the reason is, you know, mahal talaga sila, and whenever you go into the store, they always tell you like 100 grams or something. It's too much. You end up throwing away half of it because you only needed a little bit for your cooking that night. So herbs for me is the single best thing that you can grow. Generally, you eat the leaves, so you don't need bees to pollinate. And of course, you know, they save a lot of money, and you just pick what you need for that particular meal. So in the garden at the moment, I have fresh thyme. We have tarragon, which you can put into tarragon tea. This is the Philippine oregano, or Cuban oregano. I think it's also called broadleaf thyme by our mga foreign friends. And then over here, this is my basil that I'm very proud of. This has been growing for a while now, but absolutely massive, healthy trees. With all of this rain we've had in Manila lately, I'm just gonna take these flowers out. The more you pick the flowers off, the more it's going to shoot more leaves, right? And obviously this is the part that we eat. So this, you know, you just bruise it up, smell it, it's amazing. Any kind of Italian cooking you're gonna do here in the Philippines, this is all you need. So I often make a pesto using this because I have so much basil. We have a little bit of parsley. Over here is actually peanuts, which we're growing in a pot, mostly for curiosity. I mean, mura yung peanuts. Okay, so there it is, mga kabano. For any of you who have been curious whenever I reference the Maputing cooking garden, this is what it's like. I mean, it's not big, but you'd be amazed how much food you can get out of a small space in a couple of pots. But I think it's really something that, of course, it's always going to be cheaper as a supermarket. We do it because of the quality and of the passion, and I think, you know, in this day and age, in the 21st century, in a concrete jungle like this, it's actually even more important to not lose our connection with yung fresh, yung mga natural that, you know, really makes us human, right? And it's a super great activity with kids. It's AJ's little shovel, so he comes up here, he digs, he gets his hands dirty, he picks things. So, you know, we'll look to make a few more videos. If you liked watching today, let me know, because, you know, if you're interested, I'm happy to really tell you how to grow each and everything in this garden, right? Because everything's got little peculiarities, how you water it, how you look after it, maintain it, grow it. Let me know if this is interesting for you in the comments below. And if so, what do you want to know more about? Is it about how to use them, how to grow them, or what? And I'll tell you more about not only Maputing cooking, but Maputing anim, Maputing planting, because of Filipinas. I'm Chris Urbano, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.